We have an absolutely ton of leaked information for Modern Warfare 4, including campaign information, multiplayer information, the return of DMZ, and so much more. Now, obviously, we don't even have COD 2025 yet, which is apparently going to be a Black Ops 2 sequel in 2035, COD 2025, so this is going to be Infinity Ward's 2026 release. So we are still quite a while away, but in typical Call of Duty fashion, we usually receive leaks years early nowadays, especially now that everything's on the unified Call of Duty HQ engine. And if you want to get caught up on everything we know regarding Black Ops 7, I will have a link to a video in the description and on screen. But let's jump into the Modern Warfare news. So first of all, we have information from a developer at Infinity Ward itself called Moy Para, and he has just started his first 2 weeks at Infinity Ward and said it's honestly been reinvigorating. Everyone has been incredibly welcoming, there's so much work to be done, and he is here for it. And then he actually hypes up Modern Warfare 4 itself, saying most importantly, we are cooking. Oh, we are cooking, with a winky face and a pinched fingers emoji. So yeah, he's getting very excited, but honestly, he's only been there for a couple weeks, so I don't think he should really be hyping up the game, because you can't exactly properly gauge what the game's going to be like after that short of a period. Now, regarding if the game is going to be coming to last gen, since usually the Infinity Ward titles are where we have a big engine upgrade, could this be the year where last gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, are finally ditched? I'm not entirely sure, because recent leaks have come out saying that COD 2025 will still be on the last gen consoles, so it could be switched after then, but honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it's still on the last gen consoles, because Call of Duties in the future are now going to be releasing on Nintendo Switch, so if they're making a much worse version for the Switch 2, they already have a version pretty much ready to go for these last gen consoles, and there is still a massive portion of players still on last gen, whether you like it or not, and I think Activision just can't say no to that money, but we'll have to see regarding that. We then have a big leak regarding the campaign, and so much more. So Vondi has posted, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4's campaign will follow a structure similar to the original Modern Warfare trilogy and Modern Warfare 2019, following a split narrative between Task Force 141, accompanied by the SAS, and Demon Dogs, accompanied by the USMC. The main protagonist will be Makarov's Inner Circle, along with the Russian Federation. There's also some sort of side plot involving South Korea, but unsure exactly what that entails. So it seems like they will be following up on the unfortunately extremely anticlimactic ending of Modern Warfare 3, when Makarov is being shot out in the London Underground and he just runs away, and that's never been properly followed up in the post-launch story at all. That game was rushed out in a very short period of time by Sledgehammer due to Activision's mistreatment of them, and because of that, the narrative completely fell apart and they've destroyed the world building that they were doing to the Modern Warfare universe prior. So I'm hoping that this game can be a comeback, because I felt like Makarov's acting was amazing. I just don't think the writing was there, and there were so many contradictions in the storyline. But I'm wondering what this side plot regarding South Korea will be like, because there's actually been some leaked images in the files of the game, since now we're on a unified engine, regarding DMZ returning, which I'll come on to in a second. But you can see the code is labeled as NK, and the notation Rex seems to be the code name for Modern Warfare 4, referring to T-Rexes. There's been an insider joke in Infinity Ward for a long time regarding dinosaurs, so that's what that's referencing there. But I'm trying to think what NK could be, and I'm wondering if the storyline and plot could indeed be centered around North Korea and South Korea, and that's potentially what Vondi was referring to. Now, if they do this, I think it's probably going to be extremely watered down, because I don't think they have the gall to do that, and it might just be a similar situation to Urzikstan basically being a fictional Russia, and Verdansk basically being a fictional Donetsk in Ukraine. So maybe there's going to be some sort of fictional version of North Korea in the plot, and maybe some maps could even be inspired on real locations in North Korea, even though they're not officially stated as such. Vondi goes on to say each point of view will be tonally quite different, with Task Force 141's being more akin to the rebooted series, with a focus on stealth infiltration and high-action hero-esque segments, while Demon Dogs will be more akin to American missions in the original trilogy, with a focus on immersive urban firefights and CQB room-clearing segments. As far as characters, the Demon Dogs' point of view, it's seemingly just Griggs and new characters. With 141, it's the obvious members. Yes, Soap is in fact still dead. I mean, that's no shock to any of us. Price being wanted for Shepard's murder doesn't seem to be too major of a plot point, so I'm very concerned about that, because I think that was a massive mistake of Modern Warfare 3, where the story just felt so inconsistent. It felt like the characters were never following unison. They were doing things that seemed to contradict prior things that happened in the campaign, or plot threads were just being ignored entirely, and that's a theme that's been since Modern Warfare 2019. Since the post-launch story for that game, there's just plot threads being completely abandoned left, right, and center, and I was hoping that we would see a much darker side of Price in Modern Warfare 4, now that he's gone rogue and murdered Shepard, and there might be some legal consequences for that even. However, if this is just barely even explored in the campaign, that's going to be so unfortunate. So obviously the game is still a little while away now, so there is the possibility that things can change, of course. I want to stress this is leaks and rumors. Everything is subject to change or misinformation. Things can be getting misinterpreted at the same time. In fact, another leaker, the Ghost of Hope, replied to his tweet saying these games and their campaigns always seemingly change through production. So I'm curious how much of this sticks, if at all, in the game. Cool information though. And he's very right. This can all change even if it's all 100% accurate right now, or it could even be outdated information from a year ago. So we're still a couple years away. So even if right now there's not plans to expand much on that plot thread, I'm hoping they can respond to some of the criticism and try and incorporate it more in the campaign, and it's not too late for them to change things because they have plenty of time. Last story comment is the game will be attempting to go for Modern Warfare 2019 strategy of containing many shock value moments and a much darker tone. There will be less of an emphasis on 1-for-1 being heroes and more so just above average soldiers that are revered as being the best of the best and willing to do anything to accomplish the mission, with morals taking more of a backseat against what gets results. Now, I'm definitely excited to see a darker tone of the franchise. Again, I think Modern Warfare 3 really should have been that. If we look at the original Modern Warfare trilogy, all hell was breaking loose at this point with Makarov. Makarov was such a compelling character, whereas this one, I think due to the writing, seems like so much more of a loser compared to the original Makarov, and he doesn't have that same fear factor, and the stakes need to be increased a lot. I think we need to actually be propelling into some sort of World War III scenario instead of just constantly chasing nukes and barely anything even happens. It gets very tedious and overdone. So there needs to now be consequences to the narrative, because what we've been seeing is just too many loose threads get abandoned, and when there are major things that happened, it's just not followed up on, so we don't feel the real world consequence and the emotional consequence to the characters. He says, as previously leaked, there is some sort of New York City mission, although rather than it being an invasion like the original Modern Warfare 3, it seems it's a terrorist attack by Makarov, being a false flag attack posing as Russia. It also seems this mission is a flashback taking place shortly after Modern Warfare 3. I'm not a big fan of this. Again, it seems like they're just treading on old ground. I mean, we saw him doing similar in Modern Warfare 3, not just in the recent one, the original. I want to see new stuff. I just hope this doesn't come across like a generic campaign like Modern Warfare 3 was. He says, quick comment on setting. Modern Warfare 4 is taking a bit of a near-futuristic approach, similar to Black Ops 2 and Ghost. The game will attempt to remain grounded, while also taking creative liberties with the technology of a world living in the aftermath of Black Ops 2's Second Cold War. The game is scheduled to release in 2026 under Infinity Ward as the lead developer. The studio has undergone quite a few changes in leadership since 2022's Modern Warfare 2. He says, obviously, as of right now, this is all just word of mouth from his source, to take everything with a grain of salt as you will. So yeah, it has me a bit excited that there's been some changes in leadership, because clearly something's been going wrong recently, and I'm also looking forward to see how they tie in things with Black Ops 2. With COD 2025 being a sequel in 2035, it means that there's a good opportunity for some Black Ops and Modern Warfare crossovers. Unfortunately though, I don't think there's going to be much, and it might feel a bit weird seeing the more technological advancements of the Black Ops games. It's definitely weird having Black Ops and Modern Warfares in the same universe now, and they definitely haven't done a good job in integrating all of the crossovers. They did it with Imran Zakhaev in Black Ops Cold War's campaign, and then since then we haven't really seen much. We saw crossovers in Modern Warfare Zombies, but all of the crossovers just haven't made much sense, and it feels like they could have done something great with a cinematic Call of Duty universe, and then they've just never really expanded on that, unfortunately. But speaking of the near future, Black Ops 2-esque like technology, Hope has given some more information saying Infinity Ward's next game scheduled for late 2026. Infinity Ward will be utilizing Omni movement and wall running, which is currently rumored to be a feature in COD 2025 as well. Infinity Ward will also be remastering a majority of Black Ops 3 2011 maps for their game alongside new original maps. So I think Omni movement would be great for these Modern Warfare games, especially because Infinity Ward have been in recent years trying to slow down the gameplay so much, and luckily Sledgehammer did a more refined version in Modern Warfare 3. Omni movement I think is great in Black Ops 6, and I'm excited to see how it is in Black Ops 7, since now there's apparently going to be like this wall running, as well as being able to bounce off of surfaces with your foot. And I think we're going to have to wait until COD 2025 to see how much of that is implemented in Modern Warfare 4, but I think that would be good because we've had many Modern Warfare games now and they all have very similar movement. We need a game that's a bit different. I think the Omni movement could differentiate that, but this will be the third game with Omni movement, so I'm hoping each year the Omni movement is a bit different. If with COD 2025 we have wall running to some degree, if it's just the exact same movement then in Modern Warfare 4, it's going to be a bit unfortunate having two games with similar movement back to back, so I think they need to do something to change it. Now, he says, as always, these things are subject to change based on data, feedback, back and more. 2026 is long ways away, but these are the current plans. Infinity Ward do not look to be making the same mistake again, and I hope he is right about that, no pun intended for his name. Ordinary movement should be fun, and what do you think of many original Modern Warfare 3 maps returning? I think I'm totally fine with that. I mean, they've not been creating good maps as of recent, and the old ones seem to be better. I do want to see a good balance of new maps and remasters as well, though, so I'm hoping at launch it's all new, maybe just a couple old ones, and in the seasons we get a good mix of new and returning ones, and it's not slated too much in either direction. Now let's talk about DMZ. So DMZ has got a very hardcore audience for the fans who did enjoy it the first time. Of course, it then kind of got abandoned, and then we had Modern Warfare Zombies, which was off to a good start, but then Treyarch kind of abandoned it post-launch, and it didn't get adequate post-launch support to keep people engaged. But apparently DMZ will be back with Modern Warfare 4, but Ghost says that it's apparently now going to have its own maps, or maybe even maps, and a dedicated forked version of Warzone's engine. It'll share a map set with Ground War instead of with Battle Royale. They are currently debating whether to make it PvE or PvPvE or both. So I think this is good, because a big complaint of DMZ the first time, even for those who liked it, said, well, we didn't want to see all of the systems then carry over to Warzone, and it ruined Warzone with Warzone 2.0 because they had so many unified systems. So I think having its own map will be better, because then it'll be uniquely made for the mode, which is always a plus. And I think it'll be good if it doesn't affect Warzone as well, and especially if they now fork it off into its own thing so it feels separate to Warzone, still having similarities, but then the systems are not just unified and they're not just the same, so they don't repeat the mistake that they made before. Now, what Hope is saying is that it's now being listed as the third game mode for Modern Warfare 4, meaning it might not be free to play this time, but will be basically the replacement to Spec Ops or anything like that, or Zombies, and you're going to have to buy Modern Warfare 4 to be able to access it. And if that's the case, it's going to be very unfortunate. Of course, the first version was called a beta, which is why it was free, so I guess this is going to be the non-beta version, and you're going to have to pay for it. I think DMZ was successful the first time around because anyone could jump in. All of those Warzone fans who are, of course, free to play players would be able to just jump in without paying any extra money, and it was a part of the Warzone experience itself. But if it's now going to be a part of Modern Warfare 4 and not Warzone and not free to play, I don't think it's going to be able to be that successful, to be honest, because I think its success was largely determined because it was free to play. I think it'll still have its audience for sure, but the original started getting paid for advantage bundles and things added into the store for it, so clearly it was not generating enough revenue, so it's probably why it's now going to be a part of the paid experience. Now, according to Crash, Raid will also be returning in Modern Warfare 4, so I think raids were a great thing post-launch for Modern Warfare 2. They were a lot of fun, and I think they moved the storyline forward. That was interesting. However, it's weird that they would be bringing this back, because I didn't think it was that successful. People would kind of just hop in, do it once, maybe. I don't think it had a big audience, and the storyline ended up just all being fluff and not meaning anything. It was hyping up the return of Makarov, and then it just never ended up actually doing anything come Modern Warfare 3's campaign, and just led into the attack on Al-Mazrah event in Warzone. I hope if raids do return, they find a way to make it more accessible to a wider community, maybe make it more like an open world type thing. Maybe they could even use the same map as DMZ if it is having a unique map that's also going to be used for ground war experiences. Now, we definitely know DMZ is back because for some weird reason, the DMZ menu has been added into the Season 2 Reloaded update with Black Ops 6. Now, obviously, because they're using a unified engine, that is why it's here, and this was not seen in the original DMZ. You can see there's dog tags, and this is probably for the DMZ 2. It seems like it will allow you to exfil and keep other players' dog tags, but also there's traits, buffs that you can add to your characters, as Margwa states. Dog tag rarity seems to be coming back too, and a leveling system could easily just be the normal level XP system though. Now, according to Vondi, DMZ will be taking a more cooperative focus. It will essentially be the new Spec Ops, but more open world and extraction focus with story missions available. So let me know what you think of all of this in the comments below. We mainly have information regarding the campaign and DMZ, a little bit of multiplayer information regarding there's potentially some sort of Omni movement and wall running, as well as Modern Warfare 3 maps might be getting remastered, but this was pretty much obvious stuff. This is all we know right now. I'll be sure to do updated videos if we learn anything more than this. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.